Hey, what is up, guys? Pineboat Beer Reviews back here again with you today for another one, and this one that I have here today is Terrapins from Athens, Georgia. They're so fresh, so green, so fresh, and I missed the and they're saying so fresh and so green IPA, Citra IPA, I believe. They do this IPA like this, I think, every year. This is 2017's, which I believe is mostly relying on Citra hops as the sole hop in this IPA. It's made with the whole leaf wet hops. They say fresh off the vine, so it must be just sort of very green IPA. Hence the so fresh and so green name that they went for with it, and as well as the green can and the green pull tab there, which I think is kind of neat. Never really see too many of that kind of thing on a beer can. But it is 6.6% ABV, gets a 3.79 on Untapped, which is a fairly decent score for Untapped. I believe it is, I have Untapped pulled up here, so 65 IBUs, so should be a fairly good, hopefully a nicely balanced IPA, and I'll go ahead and just go straight down the center in this sort of goblet chalice type glass here, which I do a lot of the IPAs I do out of. And with that, it gets a 3-finger kind of off-white soapy looking head. The appearance is, as you would expect from a typical American IPA, West Coast style IPA, very orange, kind of coppery appearance there. Head looks a little slippery. It might be one that doesn't leave a lot of head, but it's not crazy high in alcohol. So with an IPA like this, the head should somewhat stick around. It has a nice stream of bubbles that you might be able to see there, kind of coming up from the bottom of this glass. Not really catching it too much, but a nice little stream of small bubbles just kind of coming up from the glass there. So let's go ahead and go for the aroma on this one. Definitely very sweet, piney hop aroma. It's been a while since I've had an IPA with just Citra hops in it. I believe there was a Green Flash. I think it was just Citra IPA or something like that. I think it was like a bottle with like a blue kind of label that just said Citra or something on it. I remember really liking that one, and I think that was the first IPA I've ever had that had Citra hops in it, and I remember it being very much like a the hop aroma and flavor profile being very herby, very savory type of hop. This one smells a little bit more, a little bit sweeter though. Kind of an orange peel, coriander spice. Maybe not necessarily an orange peel. What's something that's a little sweeter than oranges, like tangerines maybe? Just like a sweet citrusy kind of orange zest kind of aroma to it. And then your typical kind of just like white sugar, white bread, kind of toasty sort of aroma in there as well from those malts, I'm assuming. So let's go ahead and go for the flavor on this one. Yeah, a lot of that kind of sweet, citrusy kind of aroma is coming through on the flavor as well. Very centric and very forward with that kind of orangey kind of sweet flavor. But there is a bit of an earthiness there too. There's sort of a bit of that savory kind of flavor that I'd mentioned before. I'm not sure if I'm just thinking that because I mentioned it, and now my mind is just stuck on it. So it's tricking me into kind of tasting those flavors. But there's a little bit of a sort of herby kind of almost like an oregano kind of quality to it. Which you wouldn't really think about it, but I'd almost feel like oregano and citrus flavors might go well together. There's a good sweet kind of malty background to this IPA. Tastes very heavily of like cereals, like just wheats and grains of that kind of that sort of quality. Not so bready, just almost kind of more of like a and not really oatmeal, I guess, but almost kind of like more like a flaked cereal kind of thing, um, like a cornflakes kind of flavor to it. But mostly puts the spotlight on those citra hops, which are very sweet, very uh, uh, very citrusy, as I've said plenty of times now. It's got a nice, just sort of like I said, it reminds me. It's a whole lot of just sort of tangerine flavor. Good little bitterness on the back end though. The mouthfeel is kind of like a medium, towards verging on medium light, but mostly medium. The finish is fairly wet, not too dry with that 6.6 alcohol content to it. Good bit of carbonation to it. Not crazy amounts though, but a good bit. And it has sort of just overall kind of focused quality to it, and I believe that is exactly what they're trying to do with this beer, is to just focus on the citra hops. Not really getting a whole lot of just different, unique kind of quality from these hops. I mean, they're saying that they're trying to kind of also not only focus on the citra that they're using citra hops, but also focus on the fact that they're using very young, fresh hops from the vine to put into this into this brew. So I'm not really getting any different, unique kind of quality to it. Maybe the more sweet kind of thing I'm getting from this go around with these citra hops is as opposed to like that Green Flash Citra IPA that I had, and describing that more as savory rather than kind of citrusy sweet. Like with this one, maybe that's coming from the citra hops being younger in age, or not really. I guess like they just kind of put it straight into the brew instead of storing them for any length of period of time or harvesting them later, rather than earlier with this beer, I'm assuming. So it does have a really nice kind of focus quality to it in terms of the flavor profile. So I would actually recommend getting this one for IPA lovers out there. I go with the solid. Uh, uh, I go with an A minus on it. It's really great IPA. Actually, it's very clean, very fresh. It does have a very fresh kind of quality to it, and it really does keep focused on that citra, and it doesn't really have any bad or off qualities in it with the after with the finish or anything like that. Not really getting any of that sort of strange kind of alcohol, kind of nail polish sort of flavor at the end. And it's got a good bitter bite to the end of it too in the finish. So would definitely recommend checking it out. Terrapin's So Fresh and So Green Citra IPA 2017 edition. Even has a Best By date on the can, which is always appreciated. So yeah, A minus for me on the Terrapin's IPA, So Fresh and So Green. Until next time, guys, thank you for watching.